Considering there's been such an enormous amount of research into the welfare of layer hens, particularly in cages, including the work of Dr. Greg Parkinson of the Victorian Bureau of Animal Welfare, who found that 55% of hens that had been in battery cages for egg-laying production had actual fractures or broken bones at the point of slaughter as a direct consequence of being housed in a battery cage. How is it then possible for New South Wales government, as the being charged with overseeing this review, possibly allow the recommendation of the continued use and not phasing out of battery cages if the science is so strong that the welfare of the animals is in serious jeopardy when they are in cages?
Well, you've got to remember, and I'll go to Mr. Hanson in a moment, that there are a number of processes that are being undertaken here. Firstly is the gathering of the drafting of the standards, and that's something that we've played a key role in. But then each state needs to form its own view as to what their recommendation would be going forward to the COAG process to decide collectively as a group with all of the states about our view on the role of cages, for example, in egg production. And that's a process that we've been consulting on ourselves. We've appointed a former Chief Veterinary Officer of DPI to run a number of consultation meetings and workshops for us to gather not just the technical information, but also the view of industry and animal welfare groups.
What about scientists? I mean, we can have industry view, animal welfare groups can have a view, but at the end of the day, the complexity of this issue really needs, the science is what we rely on to convince us one way or the other.
I think
if the science is so strong, how could we possibly not recommend that these cages be phased out?
Well, I think one thing that you'll note, and you've heard me say plenty of times, is that we need to consider more than just science. We need to consider a range of other things when we make decisions, as well as the impacts, the potential impacts, not just on the industry, but we also need to consider the role that eggs play in everyday households, a cheap form of safe protein. And we want to make sure that any decision that is made gets the balance right between the economic impacts and the contribution that the industry would have to the sector and the communities that house that sector. Obviously, the animal welfare issues, and you'll note that in some of our discussions, I think the one thing that we can agree upon is that there does need to be some change. We just need to work out where that change occurs and the path to follow to do that.
It would be pretty. I mean, I take the point that the government has to take into account industry concerns, but it certainly would be a concern that, based on the science, a farmer who put a hen in a battery cage might be charged with cruelty by putting the animal in a situation where it is 55% chance that it's going to have fractured or broken bones because of the housing in that situation. Then those farmers could possibly be facing some serious consequences.
Yeah, but if we make all rules based on a probability or a chance or a percentage, then we wouldn't do anything.
55% is a pretty high probability.
But we're not saying that 55% of animals are having those issues, are you?